Fish taco?
I'm Mike Uyak. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Recipe Redemption. Today we're talking about this. Looking at a recipe that I initially thought might go into one of my nope videos, on the grounds that it's a vintage healthy recipe hack that is so much worse than the original that redeeming it simply requires you go and make the real thing. But I thought I'd take a stab at both rejiggering this recipe to make it a little bit more palatable to modern taste and acceptable to me anyway, and doing my take on the original idea as well. Because why not? Thus, without further ado, from the mists of 1974 comes the Weight Watchers International recipe for fish tacos. Only not. Okay. The base, piece of toast. White bread. I accept the premise that a taco is a sandwich. Fillings sandwiched in the middle of a starchy outer layer meant to be picked up and eaten out of hand. But a taco really needs a tortilla, kind of by definition. And I have to say, for my personal tastes, a fish taco really needs breaded, deep-fried fish to give it that extra bit of texture. Now, for full disclosure, for health reasons, we have been making them with unbreaded, pan-fried fish, but it's just not the same, to me at least. The spicing is it's a little anemic, but and the sauce that you pour on top, and that I actually measured out per the recipe. That's a lot of sauce. So it's going to soak down the bread, so you're not even going to get that all the crunch of the toast. It's pretty soupy. So you can't argue that you make a taco by picking this up. Yeah, it's already really soft. With this sauce, your hands will not be holding this. And you may very well, in fact, I'm probably going to end up eating this with a spoon rather than a fork. But let's just see what we end up with.
So real quick, the sauce starts off with pimento, just the jarred peppers, along with, it calls for chicken bouillon. I assume they mean the reconstituted stuff rather than actually putting 1/8 of a cup of the dried concentrate. That seems like a bit much of a muchness. In addition to that, some wine vinegar, 1 clove of garlic, already diced or minced, bit of paprika, and some black pepper. And then we're just going to lid this up and take her for a whirl until she's nice and smooth.
Get a little bit of fish, get a little bit of cabbage, get a little bit of X toast. Will not stay on my spoon. All right, that's fine. Fish taco. Watery. Really watery. Okay. I don't really notice the broth that I used. The vinegar comes through. Oddly enough, the fish kind of disappears. Okay. All by itself, you can actually taste the fish, but with a bite of the toast that soaked up all that sauce, you're not tasting the fish. The cabbage, it gives it a little crunch. It's not horrible. It's not great. And I would argue it's not a taco. If you're going to do that, rearrange some things. Behold, cod salad. Took the cabbage. Excuse me. Took the cabbage, modified the sauce into more of a sort of a Mexi spiced coleslaw.
Which I made by combining lime juice, it's about the juice of one lime, along with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Here I have some taco seasoning, it's just prepackaged stuff, along with a tablespoon of sugar and about a half teaspoon of salt. Mixed together just to make sure that they're all sort of evenly combined and everything starts to get wet and rehydrated. And then probably about a third of a cup of mayonnaise. And whisked together. This is going to take a moment, but you want to make sure all those globules break up and this is fully re-emulsified. At which point we add our shredded cabbage. Luckily I do redemptions, so I wouldn't have to buy a whole bag of cabbage just for the original recipe and then have to figure out what to do with it. And then just toss to combine.
Put the fish in there, and then instead of serving it on a piece of toast, served it with croutons on top, seasoned. I didn't think to bring anything other than a spoon, but flavors are similar. I think my dressing, because it is lighter, well, not lighter, but brighter flavor, I guess. And kind of allows the flavor of the fish to come through. If you're going to bother putting cooked flaked cod onto a dish, one assumes that as the protein element, that is the part that you really want to taste. And it's pretty delicate. So, this was disappointing as an open-faced sandwich, because it's not actually a taco. Going to be kind of a knife and fork sandwich too. This, especially with the croutons on top, there's a chance that they'll stay a little more crunchy. And as I said, the dressing allows the flavor of the cod to come through. Now, to top it all off, I'll show you how I think a fish taco should look. Mind you, this is just how I'm going to make it. This is not even how I usually make it, because deep frying and a few other elements aren't the healthiest options. So the way that we usually do it, like I said, unbreaded fish cooked in just a little bit of oil in the pan and not deep fried. But this is how I think a fish taco should look.
First, we'll set up the penne station. I just have regular all-purpose flour here, to which I'm adding a healthy dose of that taco seasoning and mix to combine. This taco seasoning already has salt in it, so I'm not going to add any more to my flour. Now you should try and use what they call the dry hand, wet hand technique for breading things, where one hand only touches the flour and that's it, and the other hand only touches either the raw fish or the egg mixture. I have already failed this, but in any case, roll it in the flour. It's important to kind of shake off any excess. Then dunk into the egg, making sure you get all surfaces. And then once again, back into the flour. This is double paneing. I like this. It gives a nice thick layer of breading. And repeat for all the pieces of fish that you have cut. Now, once you've done that, get some oil over medium-low heat, heat it up, and do your tortillas one at a time. These are white corn tortillas, just long enough until they start to blister a little bit. 10 to 15 seconds. Flip, another 10-15 seconds. It kind of depends on the power of your burner, but you want it to take about that long for both sides to kind of blister up but not get crunchy. What you're trying to do is cook them through. They'll firm up a little bit but also become more flexible. They become more pliable by doing this. Once you've done all your tortillas this way, you store them between layers of paper towel and keep them warm and moist while you fry your fish. I'm pan frying. You can deep fry if that's your preference. I don't like having a big pot of oil around because I don't deep fry every day. And I don't have a countertop deep fryer because I don't have any countertop. After a couple of minutes of frying, flip them over, fry them some more on the second side. Fish doesn't take very long at all to cook through, so 4 minutes in the pan is definitely long enough, especially for pieces this small. Now, set those off to the side to cool so you can handle them while we make the last element. I have some capers here, along with some onion powder and garlic powder and mayonnaise. Yes, I'm making tartar sauce. And just mix those together, more or less off camera for some reason. And you refrigerate that until you're ready, but since I'm assembling these now, I'm ready now. So street tacos, which is what I'm doing here, typically have 2 layers of tortilla, I guess for, I don't know, structural integrity. I'm going to start off with a smear of my homemade tartar sauce, along with about, we'll say that's close to a tablespoon of guacamole. This is not homemade. I was lazy, but that's okay. A couple pieces of my fried fish, a healthy dose of that spicy slaw that I made earlier, and if you like, because I do, a little bit of shredded cheese. This is a Mexi mix. And just give it a little fold to make sure that it's in the right shape.
And we gobbled those right up. The deep frying gives it that little bit of crunch, along with the slaw. The lime-infused tartar sauce that I made really adds something to it. I mean, citrus and fish have gone together since cooking began. So no big surprise there. But having the tartar sauce and the guacamole, you don't miss the the absence of salsa, but you can if you're in the mood. I decided not to, and it was fine. But that's the way that I would like to make fish tacos. Not this. Nice try, Weight Watchers, but there are other ways to do it. Do the salad, or if you just happen to be on, a cheat day, or if you just freaking feel like it, get yourself a real fish taco. It's not that bad for you, and if you don't hork down 12 of them, you should be fine, health wise. I am not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but I think you're probably fine. My cats go crazy. So, what do you think? First of all, would you eat this? And secondly, what did you think about the taco that I made? That I can't show you because I snarfed it down. Anything different that you do when you do fish tacos? Or do you just buy them in a bag from from a restaurant? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other ideas, once again, by all means, please share them and let me know what future episodes of Recipe Redemption you would like to see. And until next time, I'm Mike Uyak, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a good one.